Hey everyone, good day to all of you. Hope you're all doing well. So I've been pondering the idea of kind of building out a PDW, sort of like a backpack gun for a while, and over the course of several months, ultimately did settle on picking up one of these. This is a CMMG Dissent Mk4, just the upper, but despite that, it's actually going to be my second review on the CMMG Dissent. The first one I did several months ago now was on the CMMG Dissent Mk47, which is their 8K magazine, 7.62x39. I got that one with the full size 16-inch barrel and everything, but I wanted to try something more for that PDW type of roll. I'm not totally sold on the concept yet. Like I said, it's just kind of something I'm testing out as maybe being something that I can plus up on my EDC, maybe. But I'm not really going to talk about the concept as much as this upper itself today. So the reason I wanted to talk about this, despite already doing a review on the Dissent, is that this is their Mk4. So the Mk47 I previously did a review on is, like I said, 7.62x39, but interesting thing about that one is it's much more built around the 308 receiver set. So everything on there is, a lot larger, and there's a lot less interchangeable parts with an AR-15. Compared to this, there is of course still quite a bit proprietary stuff going on, because this is bufferless, so you can actually fire this with the stock folded, which is the main reason I wanted to pick it up. But internally, a lot of the important parts, such as the bolt, are totally interchangeable with an AR-15. Still direct gas impingement or internal piston. And if you're interested in the whole Dissent, when it's fully built out with their lower as well, then do check out that previous video I did on the Mk47. Like I said, I'm using a different lower on here for, a lot of reasons, but main things I just really don't like CMMG's lower. So yeah, this one's just going to be a bit of a quicker rundown on just the upper. So I'm going to be talking about this, and structuring this review is a little different than the average gun tuber. Going to be starting from the most important topics, broad strokes first, and then going down in granularity to the more nitty-gritty details. So I'm going to start first with the absolute most important thing, which is reliability. So when I first got this, out of the box was not 100% reliable. Was having a pretty consistent issue with the first round in any mag, with any ammo, just not wanting to go all the way into battery. A few things to note on that. The fact that this wouldn't go into battery. For one, do note you do not have a forward assist on here, which is funny that I actually do wish that this did have a forward assist. If you actually just go back a few months ago, it's kind of, like I said, it's kind of funny because the last AR build video I did, I said in there that I didn't really feel like I needed a forward assist. I go back and forth on that topic a lot, but I'm yet again in the camp of, man, I really wish I had a forward assist on here. But of course, this is, like I said, self-contained, bufferless system. One issue with that is you're running a lighter than normal bolt carrier because it has to be cut down to fit into here. And an issue with that is there's just less mass to return on. And similarly, another issue I noticed, or at least I think this is part of the issue, is the springs in here. It uses dual guide rods similar to like an AR-18. They feel kind of light, similar to just like a regular carbine buffer spring and like just a run-of-the-mill AR. I really wish that this had both a forward assist, of course, but I do wish this had stronger springs as well. So this is post-editing me. This is going to be a little bit disjointed because I'm recording this part after I recorded the entire rest of the video. So I just took the Mk4, the topic of the video, out again to record some more B-roll footage, and just because it is new, so I've been wanting to shoot it a lot. So I'm at about 1,500 rounds now, and was working perfectly until about halfway through the range session. It was a pretty high round count range session today. So essentially the gun turned into a bolt action, whatever. I had other stuff to shoot anyway, so didn't worry about it too much, just cased it up and put it away. Finally came back and getting everything cleaned and inspected now. This is why it turned into a bolt action. Now, I'll try torquing these down as good as I can. I haven't taken this apart yet. I need to check if it stripped the screws, the threads out yet, but that's where we're at on this. So as far as me saying, oh, could I use this as a PDW? Or if you're thinking about using this for a PDW, I would say, well, the quality control isn't really there. Worth pointing out, I never had any of these issues in the Mk47 I had. And actually, once I swapped out the bolt, so I'm currently using a HM Defense, just a chrome-plated bolt in here. It's a really nice, super smooth bolt. And you can literally feel, it's like a night and day difference when the bolt is locking and unlocking. You can just really feel how much smoother it is compared to earlier when I was using the original bolt. You really had to yank this thing out. This does have an adjustable gas block, so I've been playing a little bit with getting this pretty nicely gassed. It's already really soft shooting. I actually have this a bit overgassed, as you can see from the ejection patterns, so I do need to dial it in. I've been a bit lazy with that this time around. One of the kind of issues I have, it's not really directly related to reliability, but long-term durability. This barrel in here is just 4140 steel, not like a lot of the other barrels you see, which I would really say 4150 is like the bare minimum, but you know, this is a bit of a subpar steel. I would prefer they use a better barrel, especially for the price that these are going for. Despite saying that, I'm not the most concerned about it, at least personally. And I mean, you can tell I got over it because I did buy it, and I knew that going into it. But this just uses a standard AR-15 barrel. So even when I do shoot this one out, which probably won't be too long, I mean, relatively speaking, then I can just put in another nice barrel without issue. And speaking of the barrel, that's a good point for me to segue into the precision of this. So although this is a 10.5-inch barrel, I did want to just see what is the maximum precision I can get out of this, and I'll put up the video now. Top right target, 53 grain Hornady Super Performance varmint. These ones are hand loads at the top right. Berger 70 grain OTM. These are also hand loads at the bottom left. Last group is going to be this Fiocchi 77 grain SBR enhanced, and these are loaded with Sierra Match Kings. 10 here, same magazine. These are going to be fired at the bottom right. You know, I had a few outliers, but by and large with quality ammo, I'm getting about 2 to 2.3 MOA with this, which is not great, but it's not really terrible, and especially for like a PDW sort of roll, I don't really care. It's fine. It is, well, I would say it's good, not great, in other words. I want to talk about lower compatibility a little bit on here. This, of course, like I said at the start, this isn't going to be something I'm going to focus too much on. You can use any mil-spec AR-15 lower that you want on here. So the one I'm using is a LWRC ambidextrous M6IC lower. The reason I got this one in particular, mostly because it's ambi, and the reason I really want an ambi on this build in particular, because I'm using a side folder, is when this is folded, it blocks the regular left side bolt paddle. So that way, even if I'm shooting this when it's folded for whatever reason, I can still do everything from this side totally unobstructed. Long story short, I also wanted to just try this style of ambi lower because I'm used to a different style. Not to go on that tangent right now, but one thing you need to keep in mind, if you have either this lower or similar style where you have an actual paddle on the right side, you will need to either remove your brass deflector right here, or you'll need to cut it away. So if you were kind of paying really close attention to that B-roll, when I very first had this at the first range session, I just took the brass deflector off because I didn't want to cut it just in case something went catastrophically wrong and I had to send it back for warranty. That way it's, you know, just as I got it. But then once I confirmed that, I just cut a little bit away. It really doesn't need much, and then it's all good to go right there. But if you use a non-ambi lower, or you use an ambi lower that just has like the lever on the side, kind of like the HK ones, you're not going to have any problems with compatibility, and you won't need to make any changes at all. One small thing I do want to draw your attention to is the dust cover. This does have a dust cover, just a standard AR-15, one of their zeroed type. I do actually like this quite a bit. It seals quite well. You can see it has this sort of gasket here. But the reason I'm bringing it up is the CMMG website has a little bit of a discrepancy. If you look at the photos when you're buying just this upper, at least as of recording this video, they actually show an older version that doesn't have a dust cover, or it has like a weird integrated sort of dust cover on the bolt carrier itself. The one you'll get is this with the dust cover. So if you look at the fully assembled pistol version on their website. That's what you're going to get, even if you just buy the upper. There's no weird differences between the two. It's just, I don't think they updated their photos and they kind of forgot. On that note as well, no matter what color you get this in, so I got mine Cerakoted in Coyote Tan because it looks cool, not like it helps functionality for a PDW at all, but you know, just like peanut butter guns. When you get this though, it will not come Cerakoted. So this, the dust cover is going to be black, your brass deflector is going to be black, and your charging handle is going to be black. I took mine off, again, after the first range session and just painted them all to match, and looks pretty good now. But yeah, keep in mind if you care about it matching, which I do a little bit, as remiss as I am possibly to say that, then that's going to be something you'll have to do yourself. I want to move up here now and talk about the muzzle device as well as just suppress usage in general. So if you get this exact version, it's the 10.5 inch 5.56, but I think any of their kind of pistol length barrels actually come with a linear compensator installed. I mean, this one did, and it works fine. It actually isn't too bad as far as flash. Usually in my experience, linear comps are terrible with flash, but theirs is fine. Obviously, I did still switch it out just so I can use suppressors or my own linear comp that I have on here now just for other reasons. And it works really well suppressed. So two things on that, kind of referencing my original Mark 47 review. So as you've probably already seen already, this does have a forward charging handle. You can reverse it to either side. You can only run it on one side at a time, but I do have it on the right here just so it doesn't interfere when it's slung and poke into me, which is annoying. I wish they made a folding charging handle, but none exist currently. But since this has a forward charging handle, you obviously don't have a slot in the back with one of those rear T charging handles like a regular AR, which I've always hated. Instead, you just have a plate, you can see, for the stock adapter. CMMG does use their own proprietary stock adapter, so you can't just buy any regular AR-15 1913 stock adapter out there, because you'll see on this one, this actually extends upwards over the receiver rather than being flush with the lower. But one issue I had actually with the Mark 47, and it wasn't terrible with this either, but this adapter end plate was actually a little undersized compared to the sides of the uppers. There was a little tiny gap for some gas to escape. And especially right after I clean it, I would occasionally get like a little crescent shaped just carbon on my face that would match with the little gap right there. So that might be an issue with all of their 308 receiver set sizes, but on this Mark IV, again, the AR-15 sized one, this actually is a really nice fit, super well sealed, so even when I'm shooting suppressed, I don't hardly get any gas to my face at all. It is very nice. Let me actually go back to the charging handle for just a second. One thing I did want to touch on, especially for this short of a barrel, is you get very limited rail space here. So you can see that I am running my flashlight in a rather odd position. I would usually not want to run it right here, of all things, but the reason I am is to keep clear of the charging handle, and then obviously doesn't interfere with the sling either, and it's mostly out of the way. It doesn't work great obviously for shooting off of barricades and all of that, but it's kind of the best compromise I could come up with while still being able to easily access this. And last thing I wanted to touch on before I close up the video, so super nitpicky, but if you do care, and I kind of personally would expect a little better as far as the price on this is concerned, but the rail, the top Picatinny rail I should say, on the handguard compared to on the upper receiver, this is barely lower, and you can kind of make out that difference in height. Let's see if you can see right there. Hard to pick up. It is very slight, but just a little annoyance there. So thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. I will have some more videos out on this build in a little bit. I am going to be doing another video on this lower. Didn't really want to talk about it here just because it's not the topic of the video, but I do have some thoughts on this type of ambi lower that I will discuss in a very near in the future video. And I have a few other uppers I've been trying as well that I'll have a video out as well. Take care. Hope you all have a good one. See you in the next one. The calm before the storm. I'm Frogman Joe, otherwise known as Joe Bob Tough Guy. I served 20,000 tours of duty as a latrine cleaner in Iraq, and I'm here to tell you why you need a CMMG Dissent Mk4 to defend against Iranian sleeper cells. All right, that was a good warm-up. Anyway.